Hello and welcome to the Downsized Dish. My name is Lorraine Durham and I've lost 54 pounds on tirzepatide, which is a GLP-1 medication. And welcome to the Downsized. This is our channel where we talk about all things GLP-1 weight loss related. Our Downsized Dish series is our interview series where we talk with real people who have been on a GLP-1 journey with medications like Manjaro, Zepbound, Ozempic, Wegovy, semaglutide, and tirzepatide. We hope that you will like and subscribe to our channel. And just a reminder that I'm not a doctor, we're not doctors. This is not medical advice. So before you start your health and weight loss journey, please consult with your doctor or a qualified weight loss professional. Okay, so now we've got that out of the way. And I'd like to welcome Linda to the Downsized. Welcome, Linda and friend.
Oh, right. This is JoJo. I had to bring her to introduce my dog JoJo since you have a cat named JoJo.
I do have a cat named JoJo.
We'll be very glad. Who doesn't like a cute dog, right? She's 5 years old. She weighs 4 pounds.
4 pounds. My cat JoJo is definitely more than 4 pounds.
That was bigger than her. But Ready to go to town. We'll let her go.
Sweet little baby. Well, Linda, tell us about yourself.
Well, I'm 61 years old. I am 5'5". I used to be 5'6". My doctor recently told me I was 5'5". So I hope like you, I'll be able to gain that inch back at some point. Um, my highest recorded weight, and then I say recorded because, there comes a time where we quit recording. We stay off the scale, but, what's
Yeah.
253 pounds, and that was around, 2016. I started taking tirzepatide in August the 8th of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, I met my goal weight this week of 145 on Tuesday. I feel like I should have some confetti.
Yeah. Great. Insert confetti here. Yeah, awesome. There we go. For congratulations. So how many pounds total have you lost, Linda?
So I have lost 68 pounds as of this morning. I was 143.2, which you know how it is when you set a goal weight, you always are like, well, you know what? My smart scale was killing me. It was showing me that I was still 62 years old and my metabolic age, and I'm not. I was 61. Give me back my year. And
What is
my
with that? Yeah.
the sub-Q fat still showed high at 145, but today at 143, both of those dropped back down. So
Crazy soon. Yeah.
everything's in the green now. Everything.
Well, that's good.
Anyway, back to introducing myself. I am married. I have 38 years. My husband is Chris, and
Ah,
he is a Baptist pastor, and he's also a Manjaro. But he preaches a Southern Baptist church here. We're in South Louisiana, and
nice.
that's me and my husband.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you know much about Southern Baptist churches, but we are known for our eating meetings.
Oh, yeah.
We eat for every occasion. There's always a potluck for something. But anyway, yeah, we are both type 2 diabetics. Mine has been diet controlled since about 2020. I eat
Mhm.
a keto diet. Chris eats keto when I'm feeding him, but when he's on his own, he's not so good about that.
Yeah.
But we're a blended family. We have 6 grown children. We have 3 girls and 3 boys. 18-year span between the oldest and the youngest, and we now have 11 grandkids. We used to
Wow.
we used to get picked on for being the Brady Bunch with 3 girls and 3 boys, but I always told people, "No, it didn't count because I didn't have an Alice." So those of you who were the Brady Bunch
Oh, yeah.
in the household that helped take care of everything. He did have custody of his girls, so we raised them all in the same household for the most part.
That's nice. And you've been married 38 years. So you've been a blended family for a long time.
Yeah.
Mm.
So he had the 3 girls, and I had a son when we got married, and his oldest was 7, and my son was a year old. And then together we had 2 more, and they were both boys. So here's mine and yours.
And then hi.
But I also, I work from home. I work for a pharmacy, processing insurance claim. I don't know if I should say the name, but it's probably in the alphabet. And, I work with specialty medications. Anything that goes wrong with an insurance claim, I try to resolve it. And that's what I do.
All right. Well,
Like,
maybe you can give us some tips on how to get our insurance claims through, right? Yeah.
yeah, like I was a normal sized kid most of my life. It was after I had my first child, or when I was pregnant with my first child. And I don't know. There's something to be said for age and wisdom because when I got pregnant, I think it was about 22, 21, 22 years old, and I was going to eat for two. You know, I was going to be fat anyway. Let's just eat for two. Enjoy
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah. Well, I didn't really know, like, that's what I thought you were supposed to do, right? When I got pregnant the first time, like, I thought, oh, I'm pregnant now. I can eat whatever I want.
right, we're gonna be big anyway.
Hey.
So I did that, and I gained, like, over 60 pounds with my pregnancy and got gestational diabetes.
Oh,
Um, the doctor told me then, he said, "If you continue to be overweight as you get older, you will develop type 2 diabetes." And I should have listened, but, the age and wisdom thing again.
yeah.
I didn't. So, sure enough, I was
How long have you
diagnosed.
been living with the type 2 diabetes?
Probably around, goodness, it was before my highest weight because that happened afterwards. So I don't know, probably known it for 20 years or so
A
now.
while. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And did you start the medication because of your type 2 diabetes? How did you get started?
No, I took metformin to manage my diabetes for years, and um, I mean it did okay. I never was in remission, as they call it, as far as type 2 diabetes go. But I worked for a dentist for a while, and we had um, a patient come in, and this was an older man, and he had both legs amputated, and he was blind, and it's from neglecting his type 2 diabetes.
Mm,
And I was
wow.
like, gosh, I have to do something different. I've got, my numbers were not under control, and it scared me. I was like, I have to do something different. So I started keto diet, and that worked for me, and I've been able to stay on a keto diet all these years. But that was um 2019 or 2020 when I started the keto diet, maybe. But
Okay.
I had I had a niece, and so that's when I weighed about, 250. So I had a niece that was doing these weight loss challenges too. So there would be a group of about, 40 people, and she would put it on Facebook, and we had to buy in, and then
Mm,
top 3 people earned the pot, and we lost according to body percentage weight.
okay.
And so I was hitting keto hard, and I was hitting the calorie deficit hard, and I was, exercising every night. I can remember being on vacation, um, at the beach and being on the balcony doing my Leslie Sampson, steps while everybody else was inside, watching TV in the evenings. I was trying to get that exercise in, had to lose that weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was very competitive with it. I usually at least placed in those challenges.
Oh, good. Okay.
If I didn't win them. But, before that, I was just living and happy, and people always said I looked younger than I did, and my motto was brownies are better than Botox, Now that's right. Sure was. And, but then, with the diabetes diagnosis, you're no longer fat and happy is not fat and healthy at that point. So
Right.
I just made the decision to get healthy. Tried all the diets. I did FinFin, Adipex, Slim Fast, Carnivore. I've done beef, butter, bacon, and egg. I've done egg fast. Back in the day, Richard Simmons, sweating to the oldies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jane Fonda. I've already mentioned Roy Santhon. I've got some notes here. Anyway, so
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to
got-
keep track of all those diets, right?
But anyway, only to losing gain, losing gain, losing gain. Of course, the challenges that we did, I got down to 160, but, it didn't take long after the challenge because I was thinking I wanna stay under 170, so I need to give myself at least a 10-pound, range because it's when you go off a diet, you're always gonna bounce back at least 10 pounds, at least. But, and of course, that was true. I did go up, and then this just kept creeping up and kept creeping up and kept creeping up. So, um I'd like to say something else about keto diet. I made a note about that. when the doctors tell you, when you're diabetic to eat every 2 hours, and they don't tell you to eat carb restricted though, for the most part. So mine didn't tell so mine did. So, I mean, every 2 hours I was eating something. I had food stashed in my car, in my desk, in my purse, and, everywhere I went, I made sure there was something available to eat because every 2 hours, my body knew it was time to eat something.
Mhm.
Well, when I started keto and I cut out the carbs, I quit having that. At 2 hours, I would start feeling a little shaky, and it was like my blood sugar dropping. When I started keto, it was like all of a sudden I wasn't getting that shaky feeling anymore. So once I was fat adapted is what they call it when your body is not literally craving the carbs
The
anymore.
carbs.
The shaky feeling goes away. And I was like blown away that I felt like all of that was literally a carb addiction and not the diabetes, which I mean, I guess it's related, but I was like, I was just addicted to carbs every 2 hours. My body thought it had to have that.
Yeah, it was
Mm.
used to getting that influx. Yeah.
Yeah. So, eating keto, I've been able to do some fasting. I do intermittent fasting now too, but I I wasn't eating as high protein as I am now, and I did lose a lot of hair. I had a couple of pictures that I sent with my thin hair, and that was strictly from the keto diet. That was not from since I started taking tirzepatide.
Oh, okay. Yeah, any, rapid late weight loss can result in hair loss, so, yeah, you definitely see it there, right? After losing on keto.
And my hair has thinned, since I've been on tirzepatide, but I have stayed with the high protein, and then, back then when I lost my hair, I started taking, the collagen peptides in my coffee to up that helped, that's the best thing I ever tried the collagen protein the collagen pills, but
Mhm.
they never really seemed to make much of a difference.
Oh,
Biotin didn't seem to make much of a difference in the pill form, but, collagen uh, peptides in my coffee every morning. That seemed to after a few months, I started noticing a big difference with that. So I'd say that's the thing the most with hair loss.
mm,
But, weight started creeping back up and creeping back up, and then, I guess it was in January of, 24, we had a friend from church gift for Christmas, he gifted us a 3-month membership to the local gym. So, that's a great gift, by the way, if anybody well, yeah, that was great 'cause I had been doing at home workouts, just I have a
mhm.
doing Wii Fit workouts and the videos that we watch and all of those, walking videos and step videos and doing that kinda stuff. But joining the gym was kind of a game changer for me. But, at that point, I was over 200 pounds, and, um in August, when I started the Tirzepatide, I was at 211. Even going to the gym and doing the workouts, I was not losing. But a lot of
Mm.
that due to, sugar addiction. Sugar addiction, just flat out sugar addiction.
Yeah,
And or maybe I should say sweet, because it didn't matter if it was sugar or sugar-free. I constantly wanted something sweet, wanted something sweet.
yeah,
So I would binge, on sweet things and keto also, even if it was keto sugar-free thing, keto does not mean low calorie.
right.
So so my calories are going up whether I'm eating keto or not keto, and sometimes I did totally cheat on, just Little Debbie's or what
Oh, I love those little Debbie. Yeah.
actually, we live across the street from the church, so when I walk to church, um, the door that I go in is the back door by the kitchen. Every Sunday morning, there's donuts out on the counter.
Yeah.
So, I could not pass up those donuts without taking the donut holes, that's what really got me, is that I couldn't
Just little, right?
finish one, I
Mm.
on and on, and then I would work the nursery that Sunday, "Well, let's get some donut holes to take to the nursery because the kids need them." And then you know what happened from there.
Yeah.
But, also, it would be like, the sugar-free thing, Dollar General I had to quit I had to tell my husband to quit buying me the sugar-free candies. He would think he was being so sweet and bring me these big bags of sugar-free candy, and I was like, "Please don't do that." Because I
Yeah.
can't eat just one or 2. I'm gonna eat whatever's in front of me,
Yeah.
and that's not just with sweets. I think that's kind of something I grew up with. I had 5 sisters and a brother. We had a big family, and you ate what was on your plate, you
Right.
cleaned it. But, back to the sugar addiction thing, I would go to Dollar General and get, they sold individual size packs of sugar-free candy. So I would go to Dollar General, and I'm telling you, when I pulled up in the parking lot, my mouth would start watering, my
Oh
lips,
my.
I mean, it would be a
Getting your fix, right? You're getting your fix.
it was so crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but my son started going to the my husband joined the gym with me. Now, let's say he hasn't, been very often, but at the end of January last year, my son also joined the gym. He started going with me, so that's been great, working out with him. But so I had a friend to go to church with, and she was getting her tirzepatide from a med spa, and, we had talked about it several times, and I had started doing some research and following all the people on YouTube and that kinda stuff, and, um, Dave on the pen, Dr. Tina, loved some Dr. Tina, Allie, Countess of Shopping, Brittany Rose, Anchor Moments, the T on GLP. She's a wild ride. Just Adrienne, I know you just did Adrienne. I love,
Yeah.
too, so,
Mhm.
and all of her stuff. But I loved watching the downsize. The first video that I saw, y'all were doing an Audi grocery haul.
Oh, yeah.
And I was
Quality.
like, "Clutch your pearls." Dude, look at all this carbs.
Oh, the carbs, yeah.
I'm like, this is not my people. This is not it.
Yeah.
Um, what I've come to find from my research is that we all are the same tribe. We all are the same people. We are all on the same journey, the same struggle. But for me as a diabetic, um, whether it's bread or fruit, whether it's a banana, it's the same as a candy bar to my body. It all turns to sugar, and it all makes my sugar go up, and it makes me feel very tired and sleepy. Anytime I eat carbs or sugar, if I go to a restaurant and then I'm thinking that I'm eating something that's, sometimes they'll do Brussels sprouts and they'll sweeten them or something.
Yeah.
And I'll think I could have a little bit of that. But when we're leaving the restaurant, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sleepy. And it's my blood sugar going up. Same thing with the Chinese restaurant is probably the worst. They have all the things that look like they wouldn't have sugar in them, but all their sauces have so many sugars and things, places like that. But anyway, I kept coming back because y'all were so charming. And like I said, realized that we are all in the same boat. We all share what works for us, and it's so helpful to hear all the different stories. Um, I was thinking about Taisha and the way she eats when I was listening to her, I was like, "Oh my," you know, how can somebody eat like that? But it works
Yeah.
for her. I mean, look how beautiful she is, and
Yeah.
it's just
Uh, Taisha is one of our viewers. We did a downsized dish with her, and she eats vegan. So it's a very different way of eating, right? A lot of people have never heard about, some of these things that she eats. So,
yeah.
we like to highlight all kinds of different eating. I think it's so interesting how you're even when you were thought you were eating sugar, but maybe a sugar substitute, your body still had that spike, right? You still had that response to the sugar. So that must have been hard to kind of level that out. Did the tirzepatide help your sugar craving?
It did, it helps a lot. And Diet Coke, I was a Diet Coke addict. So, and one of the first things when I started taking the tirzepatide is I had a case of Diet Coke in the refrigerator, and it was like a month later, most of it was still there, and I'm like, "Wow." It is I'm crazy, and although, at this point in my journey, what am I, 9 months in, some of it's coming back, and I'm drinking a lot more Diet Coke again now, and so if you get a craving that stops and you think you can ease it back in, just don't. Just don't. because it's a roller coaster. It's a trap. It keeps going. Same
Yeah, I
thing.
may or may not have a Diet Coke sitting, to my left over here right now. But no, I mean, water is definitely important. Do you drink water? How's your water intake?
I try to drink, as much water as I can. I have, my water is flavor, and I put electrolytes in it, and I try to drink a couple of those a day,
Mhm.
and, about the sweet things coming back, it's also important to drink a lot of water because somebody here got me hooked on fiber gummies.
Oh, yeah, did those work for you?
They work, but, I keep them on the shelf in the bathroom. I was going to the bathroom the other day, and I was like, I have fiber gummies in here."
So the sweetness of even the sugar-free fiber gummies were kinda calling to you.
It called me. You know what I did? I put a pack of gum on the shelf beside the fiber gummy, the sugar-free gum.
Uh-huh.
Won't eat too many sugar-free gummies for sure.
Yeah, maybe a different, constipation remedy would be better for you. I don't know, but yeah, so it definitely seems, that sugar just, it's
It calls me. It calls me.
right? Let's hit some of your other before and after pictures. Tell us about these pictures, Linda.
Yeah, that one, I said Father's Day. I'm actually, kind of in a weird angle because I was sitting in my daddy's lap. My daddy still holds me. Aw, and I'm 3 years old. Um, but yeah, so that's, living the fat and happy lifestyle.
Mm,
And, the other one is just the other day, um, when I had reached my goal weight. So, I told you my husband was a pastor. He was doing a wedding,
good
and
job.
he's lost about 40 pounds so far. But, his diabetes was not under control before he started the medication, and, right now he's great with a 5 or A1C, which is back to pre-diabetic levels.
That's good.
But so he was doing a wedding in that first picture, and then, we do date nights as often as we can. We have a date night tonight.
Um,
But so the other picture is our date night a couple of weeks ago. We went to a steakhouse, and, that was what that was from. And well, that's what so at the gym, my son was graduating from Army boot camp, I think, and we went to his graduation. That's what that picture is with me and the
okay.
Marine. And, well,
Oh, here you are. Are you doing
well,
pull-ups here? What's going on here?
so this is, talking about my exercise routine. When we go to the gym, every time my son does, he'll do like 5 pull-ups every time we go. So, and I've heard some of your other guests too talk about, having a goal of doing a pull-up. So I
Yeah.
did that, in 2025, I have a goal for the year by the end of the year to be able to do 1 pull-up. So
That's amazing.
well possible because, man, that's hard. That's hard.
You know what? I haven't tried to do a pull-up in years, and I kinda have like a flashback to being in middle school and doing I don't know if you ever did the presidential physical fitness test in,
Yeah.
like, middle school where you had to, like, do the flex arm hang and just kinda hang there for a minute, and then boys had to do the pull-ups. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, pull-ups are super, super hard. That's a great goal. How's your, progress on that so far?
Well, so I did some research on the best way to work up to doing a pull-up, and one of the things they recommend is that you dead hang, which is what this picture is just doing a dead. So the first time I did a dead hang, and I don't really remember the time frame, first time I did a dead hang, I couldn't hold on 15 seconds. It was
Oh.
it. But in this picture, my son took up me because, I had a record of 55 seconds, and this was just a couple of weeks ago. So I've gotten my dead hang up to 55 seconds. My goal is 60 seconds for a dead hang. I also I kind of do an assisted pull up. So I wrap a big rubber band around the top of the bar and then put it down around my knee. And then I pull up that way. So right now I can get about to right here with the assist.
Well, that's good.
And then I also kind of jump into the pull up and just let myself down as slowly as possible.
Oh, it's
So
kinda like
a reverse.
both ways. Yeah, you get the both ways of the motion. Yeah, those are great.
It's gotten uh, a lot slower than it used to be. It used to slow down the fall, but now I can actually let myself down. So,
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, here's one we haven't seen. So this looks like in the gym too.
yeah, that's me sitting beside my daddy again, and, I yeah, my son took this of me doing, that's just a 15-pound weight, which doesn't seem like much, but when you do 3 sets of 10, it gets the first set is easy, but by the time I'm on the 3rd set, those last few reps are kinda hard to do. I can actually do a 20-pound, but I can't do reps with.
You know what? That's what you want, right? So you want to do the reps until you fail, until you can't do any more. At least that's what Dr. Nadolski told me on an interview I did with him a few weeks ago. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, and that's you start where you are and you go to you fail, and then over time maybe you can move up a little bit. But that's great. I mean, that's you're definitely getting in the gym and working on that. So that's
Mhm,
awesome.
going to the gym, 3 to 4 times a week, so that's me and my son that goes with me. His name is Luke, and, he's my accountability partner, and we take pictures at the gym to send to our another son who was, diagnosed recently with prediabetes.
Um,
He started trying to lose some weight. I'm like, "Get the Zepbound. Take some Zepbound." Marking for the Zeps. Yeah. Um,
yeah.
he has not started it yet, but he has started doing some workouts and stuff, but,
Well, that's good. Yeah, get the whole family in there going on it. Yeah.
uh,
What let's talk about your dosing. What dose are you currently taking?
I'm currently taking an 11. Um,
Now
so
that's
it's
a different dose. How did you come to that dose?
well, I started with a 2.5 and then that was fine. I didn't have any issues and, until the food noise and stuff started coming back. So moved to 5 and same thing. It was fine. It worked great. All of it was more than a month on 2.5 and then maybe 6 weeks on 2.5 and then 6 or 8 weeks on 5. And then I felt the need to move up again. So when it was time to move up to the 7.5, when I took that dose, it was like the next 2 days, I was so tired and
Oh,
pain across my shoulders in the back and, for 2 straight days. So I wasn't sure, if it was the shot or not because I hadn't had any issues in the past. So the next week, same thing. I took 7.5 and, pain in my back and I did what I had to do and then went to bed. It was like, I'm just
oh
exhausted.
goodness.
I can't do it. So then the 3rd week, I backed it back down, to about, uh, let's see, I was on 5, so I backed it down to about a 6.5. And then, that was okay. I was fine the next week. So I have found since then that moving up only 1 or 2 units, when I move up, I don't move up to, I'd recommend
Lower than the recommended increments, I guess. You're
right. So
doing more.
if
Mhm.
I'm moving up a lot slower, then I'm not getting, the fatigue or the back pain. So
Interesting.
well, I don't know about the back pain. I don't know if a lot of people have that, but it was, like, right between my shoulders gets just so it's like a burning, pinching, like, from the backside right across here.
That's a new one. Have you mentioned this to your doctor or your healthcare provider?
Um, I have not.
Might be something to bring up with them.
Yeah, I mean, when I take the lower dose, it doesn't do it, so
Yeah, it does seem related, and that's not a symptom that I've heard of before. So yeah, definitely something to keep your eye on. Maybe next time you have a check in with them, maybe mention it and see what they think. But I think you're doing the right. I'm not a doctor, obviously, but I think it's good, to go up in those doses a little bit slower. Have you had any other side effects besides the back pain?
oh, well, just the fatigue and the, constipation. But, when I was on keto before, I actually quit taking protein shakes because of the constipation got so bad. A lot of that to me is the higher protein and then plus, all the other things. So, I manage that with the gummies. So sometimes, I'll take, like, the Phillips magnesia once every
Yeah.
couple of weeks or something if I need to, but that seems to be leveling out a little bit now. Not as
Mhm.
bad as it used to be.
So have you thought about any plans for maintenance? You said you're at your goal, I think, right? So, do you plan to stay on your 11 milligram dose? Do you think you'll back up? What's your thought process?
Well, I can't imagine going back down and getting the food noise coming back and all of that. It's kinda like, will the food noise stay away if I stay on this
Yeah,
dose? You know? I don't know.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. I
Do
don't
you
know.
I
Like,
know there's so many different schools of thought on it, right? So some people stay on the dose where they end their weight loss portion and stay on that dose for maintenance. Some people come back down and try other things. So I definitely say, talk to your provider and see what works for you because it's kind of like a new frontier, right? Where we haven't there's not a lot of people who have uh, gotten to this point yet. So
and then as you've mentioned, your goal kinda once you get there, you're like, "What 5 more pounds?"
yeah, well, it's tempting, right? What do you think about that? Are you plan to
Well,
seek any
when I was, going to the med spa, she really didn't recommend anything. She also gave me a, prescription for, a an appetite suppressant,
Oh,
and suggested that I take it along with the, tirzepatide, but I take it, I often will I take my shot on Thursday, so Wednesday.
oh,
Well, I'll probably drop this diet pill. Look, this has crazy stuff in it. It's got, um, I'm trying to remember. It's got some phentermine in it. It's got topramate in it. It's got metformin. It's got some B12. It's got, Wellbutrin. I mean, it
well,
hits
Butrin.
it's all.
This a prescription medication or
It
this?
is. It is a prescription medication,
Yeah.
Bella, but it's also a compounded medication, and it's from the med spa. So, um, I have still most of this bottle left. I haven't taken like I said, I just take it maybe one so occasionally I'll take it 2 days a week, but, if I'm feeling really hungry, I also have to take it early in the morning, and then, I have my Aura Ring that kinda tracks my sleep and stuff. On the days that I take that,
Mhm.
um, the next morning it'll say, "Your sleep disruption was 237 times greater than usual last night."
Well, I mean, if you phentermine and Wellbutrin, I would think those would kind of fight each other, but I'm not a doctor. So, I know a lot of times at med spas, they do like to prescribe other supplements and things. So I would say, work with your doctor, talk to your healthcare provider. Um, I wouldn't think that you would need that in addition to the tirzepatide, but I'm not a doctor.
Now, one of her friend, and she's the one that told me about the med spa to begin with, I think she takes hers, daily.
Yeah.
But I have never taken it daily. I don't understand why anybody would need both. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good appetite suppressant in general that I don't, but back to the whole med spa thing. So when I started the medication, I told my husband, I was like, I've been doing this research on this medicine and this is what my friend is on and she's
Yeah.
doing so good on it. And I know a few other people that were doing great on it. And I was like, it's gonna be expensive.
Yeah.
Like must. I was like,
Yeah.
but think about all the things that we've tried over the years that has not worked. If this works, it'll be worth
Right.
it, right? So he agreed and he was supportive, and so I started. Um, he let me go. It was expensive starting it, but I changed doctors. In the meantime, I had been on it maybe 2 months when I changed my PCP. So when I went to her, I let her know that I was taking the tirzepatide, and she said, um, "Your chart says you're diabetic, your insurance should cover that." And I was like, "Oh, well, let's do it that way then." So, she said, "Let me send in a prior authorization and I'll, send your prescription in." So sure enough, she sent in the prior authorization and, I didn't really even think it would be approved because my A1C was fine, has been for years. But she said, "If you're ever diagnosed diabetic, that you can get." Let's
Interesting.
let's So, I got a piece of mail that said my, PA was approved, and I was like, "What? You know, like, PA approved?" So, I call the I told her, "Go ahead and call it into, call it into Walmart." Yes. So she
Yeah.
called Walmart. I ran fast as I could to Walmart, and it was $25. And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Are you?"
Jackpot. Yeah.
I was so excited, and I don't know, you probably don't remember, but I posted on on our group the next week. I mean, the next month I went to get it, and it was $288, and I was like, "What happened to my $25?" So, it was still
Yeah.
cheaper than the med spa, though, so I went ahead and got it, and, started trying to dig into why the cost changed.
Difference. Yeah.
Mm. The best thing that I could figure out, because I called the insurance, I called the pharmacy, they don't they don't have any answers for me. They don't know why it was 20. I mean, they wouldn't tell me if they did know.
Yeah.
And then I asked the, pharmacy about using the coupon. They said if we use the coupon, it goes up to 900 and something dollars. I was like, "Okay, don't use the coupon. I'll use it." So I went about it for the $288, and then, I was doing some research, and I found a Reddit post that said something about um, the pharmacies have Eli Lilly contracts or some kind of agreement with the different pharmacies that lets the first one be $25, and I was like, That's gotta be what it is. I mean, what else makes sense?"
Uh-huh.
So, 3rd month, I went to get it, and it was up to $988 or whatever, and that was with the coupon. So, obviously, I can't do that. I went back to the med spa, and, so this was, so I started in August. I probably lost 10 pounds in August, 10 pounds in September, August, September, probably lost 10 pounds in October. November was Thanksgiving, and I still lost 6 pounds, though, so, through the holidays, and, one of the only times I ever got nauseous on medication was Thanksgiving night.
Oh,
We don't have to.
ate too much.
And then December, I, lost about 6 pounds, Christmas and all of that. The only other time I got nauseous, though, was from eating a ribeye, a little too much fat in that. But
Yeah.
back to the paying for it. So now we're at January, and I had gone back to my doctor for a 3-month checkup, and I was like, "What if we try to call it into a different and can we just try it and see if it makes a difference?" So, she called it to Walgreens for me.
Yeah.
Oh, um, Walgreens has to order it. They never have it in stock today. So I'm looking, keep watching my little app to see when it's filled. Uh, sure enough, it fills for $25. I'm like, jump in my car. Right. Passed
Yeah.
out. What? Oh gosh, shoot. I can't get a ticket on the way. That's gonna ruin my good price. See?
And had you put in the coupon at Walgreens, or that was just straight insurance?
That I don't know how they ran it. I don't know why it ran it to $25.
No, but I mean, did you give them your coupon information or just
Yeah.
your insurance?
That
Just your insurance.
he just called it in. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
So I would say somebody at the first pharmacy screwed something up. I mean, because and if you got it for $25 the first time, that doesn't make sense with the different prices. So I'm glad that you found a pharmacy. So did you
Oh,
continue with Walgreens and it continues to
no,
twenty?
that's not the store. That's not the end of the story. So there's more to this. So for second time I went to get it, it was $158, and I'm like, here we go again. Yeah. So I talked to them a little bit, and they didn't really have any answers for me. So I called the in my insurance again, and they told me, I mean, I have a high deductible plan. I already knew that, but
Yeah.
know why it covered why it was $25, why it was a different price the second time.
Yeah.
3rd month, I went ahead and did get it for the 158 because again, that's cheaper than med spa.
Cheaper. Yeah.
So, 3rd month goes back up to 900 and something dollars because now it's the deductible again, and I'm like, which my deductible is like $6,000. So, yeah,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
weird.
it it was very weird, but I think it has something to do with the contract between the different pharmacies and the, drug manufacturers is the best I could figure out, and I've done a lot of research trying to figure it out. I work with pharmacies. I should
Right. Yeah. You work with pharmacies. I, it has to be something with your insurance. And if you're giving them the coupon and it's coming back at 900, that's just wrong. Cause I mean, with the coupon, you should be max $650 out of pocket.
right, but I didn't push that because med spa or where I was getting it. By this point, I think I had switched to an online provider
Okay.
because I've gotten it from several different places. Wherever I
Yeah.
changed in the best deal.
You can well, we never do, right? Yeah.
The best way to get it. So yeah, and so now I am back to getting it from a online provider.
Okay.
Get a 3-month supply. I got a little bit stocked up from because I kept getting it from the online providers when I was still getting it from the pharmacy, so I have a little bit stocked up. Um, so back to my husband's story, when I asked his doctor to put him on Mounjaro because his diabetes was his A1C was like, 7.4, I think. And he had been on 1,000 milligrams of metformin for years. It's kinda stayed the same. It's leveled out. It's not doing any good. Of course, he's not great with his diet. We work on it, and he makes better choices sometimes than but, so his doctor agreed to put him on metformin. So he, had just had his blood work done. So 3 months later, they brought him in to do blood work again, and, his A1C was a 5.4, back to pre-diabetic range. So, but at this point, his, appetite suppressant and all, he wasn't getting very much appetite suppressant. He hadn't lost very much weight. So I was like, "Ask them if they'll bump you up to a 5 since, you're not getting much appetite suppressant."
Of the Manjaro.
Yeah. So his doctor said no. It was doing great for his diabetes, so it was doing great for his diabetes, so why go up, And I was so when he came home and told me that, I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Because that's the doctor that I used before I had recently just switched. So I called the doctor's office and I talked to his nurse and I was like, "Honey, I understand and am so excited that his A1C is down to a normal range again. That is wonderful." I said, "But if you haven't noticed, he's a little overweight." I mean, literally, he's bumping on 300 pounds, at that point. He's down to what, 280, 70 something right now, but yeah, he's knocking on 300 pounds.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, he could probably benefit from some of these other, side effects of weight loss if he were at
Mhm.
height. So she talked to the doctor and they did bump him up to the 5, and he's lost a little bit more weight on that. Well, um, his 3 months checkup comes again. He goes back to the doctor, and I said, because he was the whole appetite thing, it's been 3 months. He needs to bump up again. So I said, "Ask him if they'll put you on 7.5." Of course, I don't know why I'm driving his train, but, or his bus. I'm driving his bus. I've done all the research. I've read all the posts. I know all the things.
Right, right.
So, he comes home from his appointment and he says, uh, his A1C was still great. And I was like, did you ask him to bump you up? And he said, "Well, we talked about it, but," he said, "if my A1C is still the same, in the next 3 months, he's going to take me off of it." And I'm like, "You found something that works, so he's going to take you off of it?"
The doctor doesn't understand it.
Oh,
We
oh,
want her.
that's it. That's the
Yeah.
last time I'm seeing you. That's it. You're never going back to him again. Or they made him an appointment with my doctor. But like, you are changing doctors this week. Do I? Moving doctors this week. So I called my doctor, made him an appointment. And it just so happened that I made his appointment on Thursday. He got his medicine filled on Wednesday. So he went and she was wonderful with him. She did bump him up to 7.5, but then he's got this extra box of 5 sitting in the refrigerator. So I started growing mustache.
Yeah, well, I mean, those bud dates are pretty far out on
So
those,
the
so
thing,
yeah, right? Got maybe a year or more on those, so yeah, I think those around. Yeah,
I thought, "We're gonna take you off of your blood thinner because you haven't had a blood clot in years." Is it
right.
gonna it's like, oh my
Was
god.
his price $25?
His, he's over 65, so he's on Medicare, so his is, about $50 a month, so very affordable.
Yeah.
Very.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Um, we can do that. We can do that. Let's
Oh,
see.
good. Well, what are some of the things that, you fix for dinner at your house?
Well, my husband is great about grilling steaks. So, he often will just throw something on the grill. And as far as eating keto and stuff like that, one thing that we've learned is that you don't have to have all the sides. You don't have to have all the sides.
Right.
You can have steak with a side of steak.
Yeah.
And before the medication, I would eat steak with a side of steak. But at this point, I can only eat half steak anyway. I can I won't eat the whole thing, but I am so blessed, talking about church, is that we have a lady at church that cooks and sells keto meals. So, she feeds us.
Oh, nice. Nice. So
So
does she, like, deliver to you weekly?
she delivers to me a couple times a week. Whatever she's cooking that day, she'll send me a picture, and she's like, "Here's what I have. Do you want some of this?" I'm like, "Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely." And, I mean, before the meals would last me I mean, I would eat the whole thing in one, and now most of the meals, I can eat half of it and save half of it for another day.
yeah.
And she does these delicious keto meals that works out great for us. There's usually something in the refrigerator, and that's why I say when I'm feeding my husband, he eats keto. But, when he's out and about or at church, our church eating meetings that we have so
Yeah.
regularly, sometimes, he'll
Do you have a lot of, potluck dinners at your church?
so many potluck.
Yes. But when I was a child, we lived in Tennessee, so we'd go to church, Wednesday night, Sunday night. So I always liked Wednesday night because we had the best potluck dinners on the Wednesday night, and I got to try all the things, right?
Well,
So
we feed the church, well, on Tuesday nights, we have Celebrate Recovery. And, we're both Celebrate Recovery leaders, also participants, and when I introduce myself at Celebrate Recovery, if you don't know what that is, it's a faith-based, 12-step program for not just addictions, but for hurts, habits, and hangups. Anything that you have issues with, can be addressed. So when I introduce myself, I say I'm a grateful believer in Jesus Christ. I struggle with food addictions, and this
ah,
and there are other things, but those are for another channel, but
it's another meeting, yes.
It was for another meeting, but, yes, and, so it's helped there, but we have food every Tuesday night, but we have a lot of us that are diabetics or, like to eat keto, so we usually do have some good choices there. On Wednesday nights is our big youth night, so, we feed the youth every Wednesday nights, hot dogs
Mhm.
and hamburgers and nachos and, sandwiches, there's always something there for them.
Yeah.
But all the other occasions, it's potluck this, and we're having a program, eat after this, and for our Christmas program, we had a big, uh, potluck meal afterwards, and, so we have a Christmas cantata every year, back to kind of a weight thing.
Mhm.
For the Christmas cantata last year, they wanted the choir, everybody to wear a navy blue the women to wear a navy blue dress.
Mhm.
Like, my son got married 2 years ago, I have a mother of the bride dress from 2 years ago that's navy, I can wear that, and it was a little bit extra for the occasion, but, sometimes I'm a little bit extra, it's okay. But so another lady in the choir was like, "Oh, I wouldn't be able to wear something I wore 2 years ago." And I was like, "It's funny you mentioned that because I can wear what I wore 2 years ago, but if I'd have bought it last year, I wouldn't have been able to wear it."
I
The constant, yo-yo and up and down and
yeah.
all yeah, all of that.
Well, I'm sure it's hard being, the preacher and the preacher's wife too, because everybody wants to feed you. I'm sure people wanna feed you, "Oh, try my dish," or, "Have you tried my whatever?" So,
No,
I'm sure
and sometimes I will take a bite of things that I wouldn't normally eat, you never wanna hurt somebody's feelings and,
yeah,
uh,
yeah,
sometimes, I fix a plate and then just, you know,
yeah.
I
Well,
need
yeah,
a
it's hard, right? Have people asked you about your weight loss, and do you tell them about the medication?
Well, and that's very specific as to who asks.
Wow. Yes, okay.
Of course, all my family knows that I'm on the medication. Several of my family members, they're on it too. We've
Yeah.
been doing it together, but I ran across a lady in a grocery store within the last month that I had known from the dentist office. She was a patient from when I
Mhm,
worked. It's been 5 years since I worked there. Since I worked
mhm.
there. And I actually had on my gym clothes. I stopped by the grocery after the gym to pick up something, and she's like, "Wow, you look great." She said, "Are you working out or are you taking that shot like everybody else?" And I'm like, "I'm doing all the things, all the things."
None your business.
kept right on going.
Well, good for you.
Hey, where are we gonna.
Yeah. Well,
But
I mean, obviously, I'm in my gym clothes, so what,
yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
well, that ask and I find myself saying, "My doctor prescribed it, I'm diabetic." And I find myself hiding behind that sometimes. It's
And that's perfectly all right. I mean, you don't have to give people an explanation, and you're working with your doctor, and that's your medication, and that's your private personal health information, right? So,
not the
yeah.
diabetes. I mean, my diabetes was under control, but my doctor
Yeah.
did prescribe it, and it is a diabetic medicine.
Right.
I'm not
Absolutely.
I don't
Absolutely.
know anywhere, but.
Yeah.
And the other thing is my most inner circle, my closest friends and all, they know I'm taking it, and I preach it to them.
Yeah.
My my family, my sons, I told like I said, the one that's pre-diabetic, I have another son and his wife, I've told she has PCOS and,
Mm.
a lot of issues like that. I've told her about it, and it's like my sisters, my stepdad was in the hospital for, pneumonia. They
Mm.
know he's diabetic. Whatever they were feeding him, his sugar was going so high, they had to give him insulin, and he's not normally insulin dependent, but I was like, "Get him to prescribe him Mounjaro." So they did, and then his insurance wouldn't cover. So
Mm.
he wasn't able to get on it. Um, Another
Yeah.
thing I found that when I first started it, is the expense. I didn't want people to know because it's expensive, and it's like I felt bad spending that much on myself. I'm a giver, and
Now
to
it is.
do that for me was it's a big deal, and it was like, I just
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. It's expensive any way you, slice it, unless you're getting it for $25. But yeah,
don't
I mean,
even want to run into the stuff.
it does definitely get expensive, and I think we've all questioned, like, Should I really be spending this much money on myself, and is it worth it?" But, I mean, it's your health, right? And it is worth it, and, it's what price do you put on, on that? So I think it's worth it. I hope that you continue it,
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I've told my husband. The new doctor that I've sent him to, she has him doing colonoscopy and sleep study, and, I mean, he's gone to, neuro consult, and he's doing all these things that she suggested, and, he's talking about spending the money and the prescriptions and stuff. I was like, "What better to spend the money on than your health?" You know?
right.
Or just spend the money on
Absolutely. 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 What better to spend money on than your health? Well, Linda, do you have any tips or anything you'd want to tell someone who's thinking about going on a GLP-1 medication or maybe just starting?
Um, I will, definitely prioritize your protein.
Yes.
I think that's made the biggest difference as far as my side effects and worried about the hair loss. That's been the biggest thing for me.
Yeah.
Um, some unexpected things that I've come across though is that I used to have a lot of shoulder pain. It would hurt me when I sleep, and I could never sleep all night just from the discomfort from my shoulder pain.
Mhm.
Um, and I started out at the gym working slow, moving that muscle, but I don't know if it's the gym, the Monjaro, or the Tirzepatide, whatever I'm taking at the moment. But I have no more shoulder pain. I didn't expect that to go away.
Nice.
It doesn't bother me.
Just takes out inflammation and does things we don't even understand, right? So
Well, I
that's great.
used to absolutely would not buy a big case of water at the grocery store because I couldn't carry it. Watching Dr. Tina about lift heavy.
Yeah.
Well, no, and Adrian too, lift heavy. So now I will buy the biggest case, and if somebody offers to hold it, I'm like, nope, I'm I'm doing it. Um, but also, other unexpected things I think sitting in church, where our pews are padded at the bottom, thank goodness, because these tailbones feel, when I don't have a padded seat to sit in, it feels more different.
It does make
Now
a difference.
my backbone touching the back of the pew, it's like that never bothered me before, and now it's like I have to kind of squinch to one side or the other.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right. So that my backbone don't hurt. My bracelets, no longer have to wear plus size bracelets. I can slip on and off. My rings slip on and off easily. I used to
Yeah.
be, run cold water. You put the soap or the oil. You got to twist and twist and twist to get them off. Now I struggle more to keep them on, even to take them off, which is
Yeah.
nice. Crossing your legs comfortably is nice. My shoes are bigger than they used to be. I've just gotten out all my open-toed shoes recently, and I've put on several pair of sandals, and it's like, "Oh, these are a little big now." Um,
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
probably
walking in heels feels different for me than it used to, right? Because I used to think, "Oh, these shoes really hurt my feet." Well, my they were just too small. I f used to think I had a wide foot. Well, now that I've lost weight, everything just kinda fits better, right? It doesn't hurt so much.
Yes, and, there's a whole new meaning for do these jeans make my butt look big? No, honey, nothing you wear is gonna make your butt look big. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome.
No matter how many squats you do.
Yeah, that left heavy.
We're close. I've gone from, like, a size, 16, 18 in jeans to now, most of them are a size 8 in jeans. The one I'm wearing the last 2 pair I bought were a 6. It's like, who wears single sizes? How was it size? How is
And
these a thing, you know?
have
Um,
you gotten rid of the big sizes, or are they still in your closet?
I have gotten rid of everything up to about a size 14,
Okay.
and I just don't trust myself enough to let go of those yet. I haven't been on maintenance long enough to let go of those yet.
Yeah, I still have a few things in my closet that I
That's
need to
what
clean up.
this
Yeah.
time, surely I can keep it off. This time is still ingrained in my head, you know?
Yeah, it takes time for your brain to really understand that you are that smaller person and that you can continue to be that smaller person. That's just the
When
amazing
I
part of this
when I
journey.
wore my makeup, I used to put a little darker line right here to make me look like I had cheekbones, but now I really do have cheekbones.
Yeah.
I might put it right here for the jowls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cheekbones. Oh, and eyeshadow, it's like when I touch right here, it's like I never felt this bone in my brow before.
Right? Like I never had like the crease that people talk about, like I never had that. It was all one big like lid, and now I have crease there. It's the weird things that you notice with weight loss, right?
And with clothes, I do a lot of thrift store shopping. Ross's is a great place to buy church
Yeah.
fine dresses suitable for church.
Yeah.
But, I go to the thrift stores and, one time when I was going from an extra large to a large, I was going looking for some pants to wear to the gym, and I also do yoga classes. Those are wonderful if you haven't tried
Nice.
do you some yoga, but, my son and he loves to thrift shop too, and so we were thrift shopping together, and, I couldn't find any large pants, but I got a medium. So, came home, washed them up. We were on our way to the gym, and I was wearing them. And he said, did those pants fit you?" And I was like, "Well, they have on," but I said they are skin tight, but it's a medium, but they're on. I was like,
Mhm.
wait, I only wish my skin was this tight." Trust me. At this point, skin tight takes on a whole new meaning too. At this point, all of my new
Yeah.
shirts have sleeves that come about to right here because I'm not ready to fly these wings yet.
Yeah, the loose skin, it's definitely I definitely have some, but you know what? I'd rather have it and be smaller. So, and you're doing everything, you're doing the protein, you're doing the weightlifting, so hopefully some of that will help that a little bit.
So that's my son Luke that does my shopping with me and my gymming with me. My son Matt, he lives about 5 hours north, so he came in recently and he's hugging me and he's like, "Hey, you don't even feel like my mama." He's hugging me. So his name's actually Matthew. So I have a Matthew and a Luke, and then John is my middle son. He's the one that was recently diagnosed pre-diabetic. So I have a Matthew, Luke, and John. It was funny enough that Matthew and John, my 2 oldest, were named for other reasons, but then after I had a Matthew and Luke, Matthew and a John, I had to go with a biblical name for Luke too, so that's how
No Mark. Yes, Mark would have been the next one.
Jordan's got a baby named Mark. I'm like,
And there you go. Get them all in there.
Woodner was not named for biblical reasons or anything to do with my family, but it just fits in so well.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
yeah.
fine. Well, thanks, Linda. It's been great talking with you today. It's been a great conversation. Thank you for taking time out of your day to talk with us on the Downsized Dish. If anyone out there would like to come on and be interviewed, please send me an email to Lorraine at thedownsized.org. Just say, "Hey, Lorraine, I want to be on the Downsized Dish." And I'll say, "Okay, click this link and sign up for a time." It's that easy. So thank you for being here today. I hope you will like and subscribe to the Downsized. And you can check out our website at bdownsized.org. We've got an Amazon store with some products that we like. We've got links to news and other things. We've got an email list you can sign up for. So I hope you'll check that out and look at all the things. And you can join us for our weekly show, our Downsized Live, that we have right here on YouTube most Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope you'll join us for that. Again, thanks, Linda. I've enjoyed talking with you today. Thanks for coming on.
Okay.
Thanks.
Take the shot. Take the shot. Mhm.
Just take the shot, right?
Take
Just take the shot. Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for watching out there. And I'm Lorraine Durham for The Downsized. See you next time. Thanks.